Chapter 6, Other Farm Rep Something Cooperative Interest Appraisal Report continued. Specific information is required for the number of shares issued and/or outstanding for the cooperative corporation. Fannie Mae requires that the sales comparison approach be used to measure the market's perceived value of the cooperative interest and accompanying occupancy rights. Fannie Mae considers the 2090 and 2090 forms to be consistent with the minimum content requirements for an appraisal report. End of page. Appraisal update and/or completion report. Fannie Mae Form 1004D, Freddie Mac Form 442, dated March of 2005. Appraisal update and/or completion report. The purpose of this report form is to provide the lender/client with an accurate update of an appraisal and/or to report a certification of completion. The appraiser must identify the services provided by selecting the appropriate report type. This is a dual-use form. This single-page form can be used as an appraisal update reporting form and/or as a certificate of completion acknowledgement. The definitions of intended use and intended user are pre-printed on the form for the appraiser. Then pre-printed minimum scope of work has been identified for the appraiser, who is using the form as an update appraisal reporting form. There's a box right here. It says certification of completion. Intended use. The intended use of this certification of completion is for the lender/client to confirm that the requirements or conditions stated in the appraisal report referenced above have been met. Intended user. The intended user of this certification of completion is the lender/client. Have the improvements been completed in accordance with the requirements and conditions stated in the original appraisal report? Yes or no? If no, describe any impact on the opinion of market value. This form is often used to report the results of an appraiser's inspection for completion of new construction, remodeling, or repairs. When the form is used in this way, it is considered to be this is in bold, recertification of value. It's probably going to be on the test. The form is used in this way, it is considered to be a recertification of value, which does not change the effective date of the original appraisal. The report merely answers the question, have the conditions that were specified in a prior appraisal report been met? HUD/FHA has also adopted this form for use in reporting repair and compliance inspections. The next section is the summary appraisal update report. Intended use. The intended use of this appraisal update is for the lender/client to evaluate the property that is the subject of this report to determine if the property has declined in value since the date of the original appraisal by a mortgage finance transaction. Intended user. The intended user of this appraisal update is the lender/client. Scope of work. The appraiser must, at a minimum, 1. Concur with the original appraisal. 2. Perform an exterior inspection of the subject property from at least the street. And 3. Research verify, and analyze current market data in order to determine if the property has declined in value since the effective date of the original appraisal. Has the market value of the subject property declined since the effective date of the original appraisal? Yes or no? When the form is being used for the purposes of updating a prior appraisal, the appraiser must remember that this form is labeled as a Summary Appraisal Update Report. Summary Appraisal Report was the name of the predecessor to the appraisal report prior to the 2014-2015 USPAP. However, this form by itself does not contain enough information to meet the content requirements for the appraisal report option as found in USPAP. The appraiser must either provide additional documentation to support his or her analysis and opinion of value, or incorporate parts of the prior appraisal report by reference or attachment. Research, verification, and analysis of current market data are necessary before the appraiser can acquire the specific question relating to the subject property's current value, as found in the update form. Has the market value of the subject property declined since the effective date of the original appraisal? The appraiser must answer yes or no. That is all the form asks the appraiser to do. Just answer yes or no. If the answer is yes, the client must order a new appraisal according to Fannie Mae requirements. If the answer is no, the client will probably make a new loan based on the updated appraisal. Information from the prior report is incorporated into this new report by reference. However, if there is additional information that is necessary for understanding of the appraiser's conclusions, this supporting information should be made a part of this appraisal update report. It is important to note that regardless of whether the appraiser answers yes or no, this is an opinion of value that must be developed in accordance with USPAP Standard 1 and reported in compliance with Standard 2. The form calls this type of assignment an update. As we all remember from our most recent update course, an update is, this is in bold, not an extension of the prior assignment. It is a new assignment. It requires a signed certification in the report. If the prior assignment was completed by the appraiser within the last 3 years, the new report must contain a statement in the certification disclosing that the appraiser previously appraised the property. On the next several pages, we will cover some USPAP frequently asked questions relating to updates of prior assignments. The FAQ numbers are from the 2020-2021 edition of USPAP. End of page. Residential report writing and case studies. Chapter 6, Other Form Rep Something. USPAP FAQ number 201. Sometimes clients ask appraisers to tell them if the value of the property has or has not changed from a previous appraisal assignment. Some of these clients will even tell appraisers that this is not an appraisal. USPAP FAQ number 201 makes it clear that this type of assignment is an appraisal, and therefore USPAP applies. 201. Appraisal update with no change in value. Question. I was recently contacted by a client for whom I had previously completed an appraisal. The client asked if I could simply tell them whether there has been changes in the market or not. Since the time of my appraisal and that the value of the property remains the same, am I permitted to do this under USPAP? Response: yes. However, it must also be understood that an appraiser making a determination that the value of a property has not changed is performing an appraisal as defined in USPAP. The comment to the USPAP definition of appraisal states, an appraisal must be numerically expressed as a specific amount, as a range of numbers, or as a relationship, e.g., not more than, not less than, to a previous value opinion or numerical benchmark. For instance, assessed value, collateral value, bold added for emphasis. In addition, the appraiser is obligated to comply with the reporting requirements of USPAP. The request from the client should be treated as a new assignment which could be completed in accordance with Advisory Opinion 3, update of a prior appraisal. An appraiser who states there have been no changes in the market and my previous value conclusion is unchanged, or the value of the property has not declined since the last appraisal, has performed and reported an appraisal according to USPAP. The Appraisal Foundation, Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice, Washington, D.C., Appraisal Standards Board, 2020-2021 edition, USPAP Frequently Asked Questions, end of page. Residential Report Writing and Case Studies, Chapter 6, Other Form, Rep Something, USPAP, FAQ number 205. Even with Advisory Opinion 3 in USPAP, providing a definition of the term recertification value, clients still often use this term interchangeably with appraisal update. These terms do not mean the same thing as per USPAP FAQ number 205. 205. Recertification of value and appraisal update. Question: the terms recertification of value and appraisal update are often used interchangeably. Do they have the same meaning? Response: no. These terms do not have the same meaning. The terms update and recertification of value are discussed in Advisory Opinion 3, AO-3, update of a prior appraisal. An update is a new appraisal assignment involving a property that was previously appraised. An update is subject to the same USPAP requirements as any other appraisal assignment. A recertification of value is performed to confirm whether or not the conditions of a prior assignment have been met. One example of a recertification of value is a final inspection. When an appraiser is asked to complete a final inspection, the appraiser is confirming that conditions established in an assignment have or have not been met. Final inspections are commonly used in the case of proposed construction where an appraisal is completed subject to completion per plans and specifications. Consult AO-3 for additional information. When an appraiser receives a request from a client for a recertification of value, the appraiser should make sure that the client is not really asking for an update. Prompt and clear communication with the client is essential in heading off any potential misunderstandings. The Appraisal Foundation, Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice, Washington, D.C. Appraisal Standards Board, 2020 to 2021 edition. Use Pat Frequently Asked Questions. End of page.